hope you guys enjoyed that intro, and as you already know from the title that I did get myself a BMPCC 6K Pro. It does really have a lot of issues. So you must be thinking, what the fuck, you still get like a camera and it has so many issues, like oh my god. So first of all, I've worked with the Pocket 4K and everything about it is just amazing. I love the B-roll, I love the dynamic range, the picture quality is just amazing. And I edit with DaVinci Resolve, so my editing workflow is just almost seamless. So now let's talk about what's new with the new 6K Pro. First of all, as you can see that it looks thick. It looks thicker than the normal 4K and 6K. As you can see, it's very chunky, it's very bulky. It does feel nice on the hand, however it's still very chunky. This camera uses EF mount, and as you can see that it has a thicker flange right here because probably to make way for the motorized ND filters, which can go from 2, 4 and 6 stops. And I've actually tried these ND filters and I can say that they are really good. However, it does have a little bit of magenta tint when you use them, especially at 6 stops. It also shares the same sensor as the Pocket 6K. So the 6K Pro uses the Gen 5 color science, which is new to the Blackmagic cameras. The Gen 5 color science will come to the Pocket 4K and Pocket 6K in the next firmware update. So the Pocket 6K Pro will allow you to record B-roll from 6K all the way to 2.8K. And as for ProRes, you can only record up to 4K DCI, which I don't think isn't that bad. I've actually tried recording with the new 570 batteries, and I last up to 50 minutes of 6K footages, which isn't too bad compared to the Pocket 4K that I've used before, which uses the LPE6 Canon batteries, which I think I've gotten around 25 to 30 minutes of recording time. Another good thing about this camera now is that it now has 2 audio inputs at the side over here. It has 2 XLR inputs over here, so now you can input 2 audios at once when recording. And the second best new thing about this camera, besides the ND filters, is that it now has a tiltable screen. It now has a tiltable screen. Look at this. And although it can't go all the way back, it can only do maybe 90 degrees and maybe around 45-ish degrees. And now this tiltable screen right here is around 1500 nits, which is very bright. You wouldn't have to squint your eyes when you're doing shoots in a sunny day. So now let's talk about the minor issues that I have in this camera. And I say minor issues is because I feel like I can work around these issues that I have with this camera, or I know that Blackmagic already has a firmware update coming soon, hopefully, that will solve all the issues that we have right now with this camera. So the first issue that I have with this camera, and probably the most common one, is that it has a very blue tinted screen. So as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, let me just turn on the brightness. So now it's at 18%. Okay, having worked with the 4K before, I can tell that it is very blue. However, it does not burn into the footage itself. And I've actually talked to the Blackmagic support here in Singapore, and they told me that in the next firmware update that there will be a fix for this issue. There will be a new menu system where you can color balance your monitor to the proper one. Number 2 on the issue list that apparently is quite common as well is that when you try to import LUTs into the camera, it will get imported, but you cannot select it or you cannot use it. And if you try to delete it, it won't even get deleted unless you restore your camera to the factory settings. And this isn't really much of an issue for me, as I don't normally burn in my LUTs into the footage that I have. I still do color grade it in DaVinci Resolve. The next issue on the list is the Gen 5 color science in this camera. I feel like the Gen 5 color science is just a little bit better than the Gen 4 color science. However, it tends to be a little bit noisier than the Pocket 4K or the Gen 4's color science. Even when your shot is exposed properly, it tends to have a lot of noise, a lot of grain. It's very grainy. I don't know why. I've spoken to the Blackmagic support here in Singapore, but apparently they don't really know what's causing this problem. And the last issue that I have with this camera, which I think is the least of my concern, is that the magenta tint on the ND filters. Maybe I just got lucky that I didn't have much tint on my ND filters as compared to other people, but I feel like the tint that I have on my ND filters isn't as bad as I thought it would be. And I say it is the least of my concern is because I've used those external NDs, variable NDs that you screw on the lens, and I feel like they have much more color shift, like more green or more magenta, and if people can work around that, I don't see why I can't work around this one. Although I'm not saying that this shouldn't be fixed, but I'm just saying that this is not much of a concern for me. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and if you like my content, please do like and subscribe. And if you want me to do any content about this camera or any questions that you might have, you can just comment down below and I'll try my best to answer all of them. So that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.